Testing, testing. That's a little loud. Testing, testing. Wee! Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. I think that's... I'll bring it down a little bit. All right. That looks good. Hey, Max Lou. How you doing? All right. Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Master of Command, our Let's Play series of the new DLC, Eagle and the Lion, or Lion and the Eagle. I always get those two confused. I think it's Lion and the Eagle, which adds Sweden and Lithuania / Poland to the game. We're playing as Poland / Lithuania, and we are in Act 2 of the campaign, nearing the end. We're about a little bit more than 2/3 of the way through the campaign. Enemy boss army activates in 37 days. We've got an enemy army of about our size marching south. Really, we've built out sort of the full size of our own army, and I'd say at this point it's really just about making our troops better, perhaps better equipped, but also just like better at fighting. One of the things is some of the units are still relatively green, some of them are not. Some of these guys are really experienced, but getting more gold sort of chevrons across the board is going to be really important to us holding up against the enemy armies, especially if they come at us with a lot of cavalry, as we saw in one of those sort of field army battles that we tried to fight not that long ago, where they kept rocking us battle after battle. And I'm hoping we'll do a little bit better. We do have 2 cavalry units now, and we do have 3 artillery units, or no, just the 2. So I don't know, maybe we're a little bit infantry heavy in this particular fight, but I guess we'll see. We'll try and get our officers up a little bit more and just generally be prepared. So let's go ahead and unpause this thing and hopefully fight a battle against these guys. Yeah, they're going to come toward me, and I will gladly fight you. The Battle of Goldingen. Okay. The enemy has 1, 2, 3, 4 cavalry units, all relatively experienced. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 relatively green musket units here in this first brigade or second brigade. And then they do have some grenadiers and more experienced troops in their first brigade. But overall, we should be favored. They don't have any artillery in this fight. I would assume the main enemy boss army, which I don't know what the makeup of that army yet, other than the fact that they're, I believe, slightly smaller than we are, at about the same size as we are right now. We'll have much more cavalry and artillery because that tends to be harder than just infantry. But we'll see. All right, so it is winter now, and we got cities that I don't really want to fight in. This would be an interesting defense. Fix our left on this wood, center on the hill, right on that wood. It'll be far enough outside the town the enemy won't have cover bonuses. Alternatively, we could use this fence line. Good weather, despite the fact that there's snow on the ground. The only thing is getting over to the right is going to be a little bit trickier, given the river over here. I can't fit everybody on the right flank. Should at least make sure all the artillery is over. And the supply wagon. All right, we'll go 2 times speed. We're not going to deploy immediately because we want them to move in column formation. They move faster in that formation. Veteran muskets on the right. Polish veterans kind of in the center. Lithuanians. Fix our left with these Troops here. Just get these guys on the other side of the river. This will lead to a more compact line, which would be deadlier for us in the event that the enemy had artillery, but thankfully, since they don't, it's less of a concern. Okay. The real question is, where do we want our cavalry? I think probably on the flank over here, so we can charge down the enemy flank if we're like on the very edge of the map. Then I suppose we could use our dragoons over here as a sort of flank guard if the enemy tries to go around those woods, which they might. They definitely overlap us on the left right now. Everybody start moving. Getting into position. It will be harder to hit the enemy if they come through the town toward us, but once they're through the town, it should be relatively straightforward. So we'll deploy these guys like this on the edge of this hill. What's the enemy stance here? They're unlikely to be aggressive, so we may have to go for them. So putting ourselves in position here, they may actually wait for us to come to them. We'll see. But I generally would prefer to prepare for the attack, and then we can always adjust as necessary. They are at least so far advancing toward us. We'll refuse the line here, just in the event that they do want to try and flank us. Though we've got our dragoons back there. These guys are in reserve, kind of behind the wood line. Put these guys in reserve up on top of the hill. And have these guys extend their flank through the woods, although that's probably a longer line than we need. Only 2 regiments in reserve is actually not really how I drew it up. But we'll see. I can always fire at them with artillery if they're not going to come at me. Also, some of these units' lines are thicker than they probably need to be. We'll see. Let's speed things along. They are still marching toward me, so. Artillery is opened up. The Polish field artillery here. These guys have ammunition's at 100%. We do have our supply wagon here. Already used 10% of the ammo in the wagon. Yikes. Well, some of these newer guns do use a little bit more ammo, but not dramatically more. Only a value of 2 more. Okay. They're Much better guns, though. These observation fusiliers are taking a beating already. They got bagpipes going? The army of observation. Skip those a little bit further left and you'd be at least plowing into those Prussian dragoons. But we got a front of 3 regiments with 1 in reserve and 3 cavalry coming up toward our center on the hill. Looks like we're engaged with the Russian grenadiers on the flank. Who's charging? They're charging me here? There are enemy dragoons going around my flank here, but... Okay, so we're being charged by Russian grenadiers. Suppose the stand and fight strategy may not be the sexiest, but I would think, I mean, we've got pretty good results except for that regiment so far. I don't know that, I know you want to stand and brace when cavalry charges infantry. It's probably not the best strategy when cavalry charges cavalry and our morale is plummeting. They're going to get us. They're retreating. I don't know if they have enough space on the map to rally before they reach the edge of the map. Don't think those dragoons will be able to dislodge my veteran musketeers here. Russian grenadiers are fighting valiantly, but being butchered valiantly there. So those dragoons retreat and my veteran musket, whatever. I don't know why they're doing that. Why would they do that? They exposed their flank the whole way along to my cavalry and then just got rocked. Meanwhile, multiple units charged up the front of the hill. They did break at least one of my boys here in the center. Sending my reserves, collapsing the 2 flank regiments in, and then sending our reserve up through the middle. Oh god, we're firing artillery. We're Cornwallising. Friendly fire does exist, guys. All right. So some of our boys are retreating. Well, we're inflicting a lot of losses. These boys must have charged up there all on their own. Looks like my cavalry did not rally before reaching the edge of the map. Probably good we dispatched those veteran musketeers. The morale's basically unbroken. They're still fighting these guys, and the enemy's morale is going to hold, I think, long enough for them to break the 1 regiment on the flank there. But the center is broken. The enemy center, that is. Yeah, I'm surprised with the not aggressive trait that they actually did that. But I won't complain. Cut them down, boys. Shattered. You just ride through the line? I told you to fight those guys. Looks like the Prussians. It must be a joint Prussian-Russian army. Can you form up quickly and get a nice volley out on them? Charge and counter charge. That one's gonna go our way for sure. There we go. Victory. You can't observe without nice bagpipe tunes. I suppose that's a reason. Okay, 900 gold, which is nice. That should double our money. Or were we, I don't know. We also only lost 2,700. I've got enough recruits in stockpile to replace those losses. So I can either go with money and ammo, which I have enough ammo, although money would be nice. Or I can go with veterancy. I'm going to go with veterancy and provisions because the veterancy will, you know, again, I'm trying to get the army I have to be much better, not try necessarily to replace with new units. Several of my generals also got to the next level. Okay. So we use about a little bit more than half of our recruits and nowhere near half our ammo. So good there. Let's go to golden. I already bought all the ammo here. The recruits are surprisingly expensive. Everything else is cheap, but they do have a little notice there saying it is more expensive here. Okay. Is there anything I'd want to buy? Like any good units? Not really. I could buy some like better guns or things like that, potentially. Have both my artillery be 12-pound licorns. Why is this like shaped weird? How are you supposed to use some of these guns with their incredibly high ammunition consumption? Anyway. All right, let's take a look at our units. There's not a lot left in this town for me. This cavalry unit has an 8-7 saber. This is a 10-2, so I like the 8-7 balance a bit more. 12-4 is just better. So we'll sell this cavalry saber. Do we have any carbines? Do we take any carbines? We could give these guys some carbines. That might be worthwhile. We could buy those. I assume there's no gunsmith here, really. There's a foundry. I can buy artillery. Not guns? Weird. Weird. All right. Okay. Give these guys some places to hide. Okay. I don't know that reload, like that seems maybe ill-advised. I don't know. They get better charging, but poor range, excellent melee. I'm gonna sell that. That's not the style again I want. Poor accuracy. I know it's a good musket, but poor range and good accuracy. So I have some land pattern units, don't I? Yeah, so this will just be better. Okay. All right, we're up to 1,100 gold. Now, I do have 42 support from the same. We won a battle, Seatown, pretty easily. All right, so we need to get to 100% to get our 5th Brigade to unlock, which would be nice. Other alternatives. I don't need the ammo or provisions right now. The cavalry size, that'd be 100 more horse, right? Because I've got 2 cavalry units. I don't know that that's worth it. Although the fact that it's not penalizing my morale makes me, because I'm not like super big on speed. I don't move around a ton. But I think we will look for one more enemy army maybe to fight before at least one more to fight before the headquarters battle. There's an army up here. They've got 17,000, so they would outnumber me, but they'd probably be very good. Let's see how long it takes to get up there. We'll stop at these places along the way. 3 days. 10% attrition, that's huge. I'm not waiting 7 days. Okay. We capture 4 weapons and gain a new doctrine. Okay, what's our doctrine? Okay, we're gonna do the 2% morale damage for the per unique regiment in the army. How many do we have? Lithuanian veterans, or Lithuanian veteran musketeers, Polish musketeers, Polish field, row recruits, so that's 4. We already have the Lithuanian veteran. Already have the Polish, Lithuanian veteran. Polish veteran is another one, so that's 5. Magnate, that's 6. Panzeri cavalry, that's 7. Lithuanian veteran dragoons, that's 8. Lithuanian musketeers, they're not veterans, so actually that's 9, I believe. And both our artillery are Polish. So 18% more morale damage. That seems like a pretty freaking big deal. All right, let's see here. 8, 7, 6, 5, that's worse. So 5, 10. I guess I'd rather the impact on the charge, so I think I'll sell them both. And I am pretty sure some of my infantry still have the worn bayonets, so let's take a look for that. Yeah, so replace that. Soul Musket Basic gets replaced with Soul Musket Good. I'll go up to Wilson. We are going to do what? Sell. Fire sale, guys. Sell all the stuff. All right, that'll be 220 gold, which then I will turn around and spend 1, 2, 3 on recruits, because we did lose quite a bit in that. All right, we did lose quite a bit in that attrition penalty for taking that fort. We could get more provisions, which I think would potentially be worthwhile, but we definitely don't need it right now. I don't want to spend all my money right now, so let's go up to the slums. I did order the guys to draw recruits, right? Yeah. So we should be getting up to full strength. We got 25 days, which is more than enough to... I don't want either of those, but I'll do it anyway to clear the slum. Not that it benefits me, really. All right, we got 24 days till the main field army comes. This is, I don't know, whatever the newest version is on Steam. Savage. I could bribe the Sejm officials, but I still wouldn't have enough to get to 100, so I think we need to fight and win another battle. Now, they're going to outnumber me by 500. Let's see how bad that is. They have 2 of these special field Jaegers. That's a little concerning. Light infantry, a 3rd light infantry, Prussian life guards, Prussian musketeers, converged muskets. Okay, so they've got some good Russian musket units. The real concern for me is artillery and cavalry. So it looks like they got 5 artillery batteries, smaller barreled guns, but that's still a lot of artillery. And then they've got Hetmite Cossacks and then 3. So they've got 5 artillery and 5 cavalry, which seems like a lot compared to my 2 artillery and 2 cavalry. But I guess we'll just have to see and pray and hope. Let's see what their army general traits are. If they have a super aggressive commander, then sitting back and firing may not be the right strategy. But we'll see. All right, they are, whoa, 100% morale recovery? What? What does that mean? Like, after they rout, maybe? Or when they're recovering morale? They're not mobile. Might give my cavalry an opportunity to target their artillery. What, their army is slow? Is that the deal? So do I need to push rapidly to try and get to this town in the middle of the map? I don't really see a good defensible terrain elsewhere. I'm just gonna pretend, and it may be an invalid assumption, that the 100% morale recovery is once they rout. That, like, they're much more likely to rally and come back and fight you. I'm just gonna hope that's the case, because the alternative is concerning. But if I take the town, I really have to take the heights beyond the town, and they're way too close to that. I mean, they are 25% slower, but still. But I don't have a good defensive terrain back here anywhere. I've got like a little bit of a raised elevation I could form here on the left, but then it's just all open ground. And if we form on the fence line south of the town, they'll be in the town when I fight them. But then they'll be on the elevation when I fight them. What a terrible map. Just praying we can get up there in time. Looks like we might. Come on, boys, get to high ground before they get here. Artillery's opening up. Our dragoons take the flank. Now that last enemy army we faced, which was like borderline unbeatable, did have like some cavalry specific advantages, which these guys don't have. So maybe they won't be quite as nightmarish to fight. I don't know. This is the most aggressive I've ever pushed forward on a map. They have a lot of artillery, which is the concern, I think. But we do have a cover. We do have some cover. We are on a defensive line. We do have some elevation to work with. Trying to look for the silver lining here. Is the enemy not likely to come at me? May defend if they have. Well, they do have a pretty considerable artillery advantage, so maybe that's why they're holding back. What are my guns doing? Right, target these guys, because if you shoot at these guys, there's a good chance your balls will skip long. If I could, maybe you target these guys, because then you'll skip long into the artillery or into the cavalry. Whereas hopefully the enemy is much more scattered in their approach. They've already burned a fifth of their ammo. About 100. Where are you guys going? Don't do that. That looks dumb. You guys are a reserve. %, 12%. Is our supply wagon just hanging out in the rear with the gear? Thanks for the sub, Jeremiah. It's over, Anakin. You have the high ground. Well. All right, how's my artillery doing now? 71 and 250. 250 is pretty good. They might be doing more. I don't know. But it's not that I think firing at light infantry with artillery is a good idea. It's not. It's that these guys are directly in front of like 3 lines of enemy units. So we can compound, because artillery shells in this game will bounce multiple times. So if you hit short or long, they skip. And that's why you see all of these ricochet marks in the snow. You can see there that round just took out like 5 or 6 horsemen in the Slobodan Cossacks. Which that's the enemy main advantage. It's artillery and cavalry, so we have an infantry advantage. So if they want to pound my infantry, you know, maybe it'll force them to come after me too. So we'll shift our artillery fire slightly. concentrate though. I don't know. Converged musketeers are also like a top tier unit, but we took out like 70 cavalrymen in that Cossacks unit, like 10%, more than 10% or so, or about 10% of the unit almost. It's hard to tell. What are they coming for me or are they not? We might, in a long drawn out artillery duel, have an advantage. And the reason I say that is because the enemy has 5 batteries or whatever, and we have only the 2, but they don't have a supply wagon and we do. So when this guy gets up here, our ammo is going to reset probably to about 100. That unit will probably break first. If I get my cavalry around their flank and go knock out their artillery, I would gladly do that. They're probably going to leave some of their horsemen back to defend themselves. Okay, let's extend the line because they're not coming up that way. Volley fire! $500 casualties inflicted by one of my artillery units. I don't want to know what theirs are doing, but I feel good about that number. They're at half their ammo. I don't love double lining it up here with enemy artillery crashing in, but I also don't want a single unit breaking, shattering my lines, so these guys are not doing well. They're also fighting multiple light units. Maybe you'd just be better off shooting at the heavies in front of you. These guys are forming up. I assume they're going to charge. Let's move our royal recruits over here. Supply wagons are up. They've used almost, all right, our artillery's back. It's reset to full ammo. I guess the one thing you can't really reset is the stamina and morale. Nice volley there by the converged muskets. Come on, Lithuanians, get your shot in before they hit you. Nice. 2 regiments volleyed them before they got in. One of our boys did break and is starting to pull back. Coming to the rear with the cavalry there. Go support them. Polish veteran moving in here. The Lithuanians may break, and they will. But now they're fighting the Polish veterans. This may be dumb. I'm going to send my general in. I think the enemy's morale is low enough that we might break them. Are you going to fire a volley before they... Got half a volley in. Okay, the enemy's retreating. I don't know what the 100% morale thing is going to be, but now you pull back, General. Hey, Polish veterans, don't pursue out that way. That'll get you killed. I think we shattered them, so at least that unit's done. Oh, I didn't mean... Oops. Well, you're charging their flank. That should help, right? They're not formed to face you. That impact had a pretty massive impact on their morale, although they're getting morale back now in the middle of this fight. Alright, the lifeguards are gone. Who shattered? Was it one of my guys? Pull back. I'm out of reserves. We got a gap in our line. If the enemy's smart, they'll take it. I had hoped charging into the rear would be a bigger impact or advantage for us. It does not seem like it. I think my cavalry there's charge is going to break and fail. Shoot these Cossacks back there. They've got a huge number of cavalry and artillery just sitting back there. They got to be low on artillery ammo. I think all those units will retreat when they run out, just automatically off the field. Yeah, my cavalry broke. They might rally before they get to the edge of the map. I really need to fix my lines here. These guys are fighting very inefficiently right now. General, go give him a morale perk to hold the right. Exhausted, but full ammo. Yeah, the supply wagon's out, but the guns are back to full. The enemy artillery, I think, is focusing on the Panseri cavalry, and they are hurting them. Most of the enemy infantry has been defeated by the looks of it. The morale is still favoring them slightly. We'll send one of our musket units out there to melee with their light troops. I'd rather you be shooting at the enemy cavalry. Oh god. Well, we're gonna die. Hopefully we make a... Oh, we're not even gonna make an impact. We're just gonna immediately die. Did our cavalry rally? Doesn't look like it. Get out of there, General. You'd think they'd be tired. God damn it. Well, there goes our general. And our artillery. They still have so many units left. We beat their infantry, but that wasn't enough. The only advantage here is we can probably, I mean, assuming my artillery isn't all destroyed and I have to buy them all from scratch. I hope I didn't lose too many units totally destroyed. I don't think a shatter does that. But some of our units that are like getting pursued here are getting chopped up like en masse. Do we just order the whole army to withdraw? Is that a better strategy? I don't know. They definitely destroyed one of my units. Whatever the hell this is, there's like 3 guys left. So these Polish musketeers are probably gone. They're level 2, so they're relatively junior. And then maybe the Lithuanian veterans, that would be bad. Those are in level 9 gold. Who's charging? Oh, they're charging my cavalry whose flank is exposed. That's smart. The enemy morale's bad too. We got him. Wait, Lithuanian veteran, get out of there before they shatter you. Nice. They drove those guys off. All right, we're gonna rout. That cavalry unit might get destroyed. I don't really know. I hope not. It's still got like half its strength. All right, so could we potentially still win this thing? The enemy morale is slightly higher than our own. Enemy Cossack cavalry. The artillery's retreating because they're pretty much out of ammo, I think. God damn it. I didn't want them to shoot. I wanted them to wait till the enemy was closer, but I didn't know which button frickin' did that. Okay. The enemy's spending their charge against these veteran muskets and not doing a whole lot. I think we're gonna win that fight. Can you shatter them before they get out of range? Probably not. Maybe? Well, their morale is recovering. So the 100% morale recovery is just like, it's not the permanent morale by the looks of it. It's just the sort of shaded morale. I don't know how else to describe that. It's like, oh, they haven't fully been broken. All right, so they got this infantry regiment that's at full strength, and then they do have... None of my boys are rallying. But yeah, we for sure lost 1, maybe 2 regiments. I'm hoping not more than that. Should really be reloading, not advancing toward Cossacks. You're in defensive terrain. I would think you'd hold well against this charge, and they do. The enemy's gonna break. Reload and fire. Got him. Shattered him. Good job, boys. Alright, I think all their other shit's retreating. It's just this one infantry regiment left. And we've got a pretty big morale advantage at this individual unit. One flank volley, and I think they rout. You can recover morale partially, so you get like a shaded, like, oh, your morale is temporarily reduced. And then you can recover that, but permanent morale loss is not recoverable. So the 100% morale recovery must have just been the temporary morale. I'm going to hope that if I choose to do the recruit option here, because we lost 7,300, I need the recruit. So if we do the conscript option here and I get 15% casualties recovered, I'm hoping that means a better chance of my units not being permanently destroyed. I'm going to go with +5 melee just because I think we're going to get charged by the enemy a lot in the final battle. We lost 2 generals and a regiment. Jesus, 2 of our very good generals. We do have generals in reserve, but they're not 4-star, 5-star generals. This guy's actually a 3, and he's lucky. +15 morale, that's big. Move speed, I don't care about. Cavalry reload and accuracy. I should probably give this guy a cavalry regiment then, huh? Maybe we assign them both to him. Ammunition consumption is reduced and increased reload. I want all of my artillery there, for sure. Artillery burns so much ammo. Okay. So we're able to replace our losses with the POWs we took. We need to get a new brigade to fill out the slot. We can upgrade these Polish musketeers to grenadiers. They'd be smaller but better in hand-to-hand. 30 versus... Wait, well, the defense is actually not much different, and I don't usually charge. I usually let the enemy charge me, so I think the 200 extra manpower might actually be worth it. So we'll go with the veteran muskets. The only reason the grenadier would be slightly tempting is it would give me another 2% morale, whatever, for that doctrine bonus. Because it would be another unique unit type. Alright, royal recruits. Let's upgrade these guys. Irish Fusiliers are smaller, but they're good accuracy. Royal Grenadiers. Fusiliers 20 and 20. So the Swiss Fusiliers, huh? Wow, they're really good shots. Terrible at charging, but we don't plan to charge, right? I don't have enough for that. Never mind. I guess let's do the Irish Fusiliers then. Okay. Alright, what do we all got? We've got some cavalry stuff, maybe. Better stamina and move. Stamina is important for cavalry. Accuracy and reload is also very important for artillery, so we'll do that. Not really worried about the move speed, but more the morale. 6 stamina, 6 move speed. Stamina is currently 82. They both have great stamina. Spending a lot of money just getting my boys better stuff. Okay. Okay. Better accuracy. Cool. All right. So thank you very much for the follow. Utani is on Twitch. What do you mean? It's for Poland. There is a parliament or whatever called the Sejm that, like, you can't build new brigades as Poland, Lithuania without Congress. So there's that. Okay. All right, let's go. We've got a few more days. Let's get up to Window. Wouldn't mind fighting another battle if I've got the opportunity. I'd not want to do it in the final 10 days before the campaign, but all right. We do more cavalry. Might not be the worst idea, having some ability to go toe to toe with their horse. Okay, so that fills me out. I don't have anything to sell. I could buy better guns for some of my units. Go with the soul. I have a number of units that have land patterns, so whose guns are we replacing? Well, one of these is a soul, so we'll replace that. I thought I had more land patterns in my group, but maybe not. Just the one? Okay. Poor charge is not something I care about. That I care about. It's a good musket, though. It's weird. Okay. Oh, I bought him carbines? Fuck. Oh no. Oh God. Oops. I am on Twitch, yes. Fuck. Fuck. Fuck, I wasn't reading closely enough. I can get some of it back, but then I'm gonna have to go back and sell. Like, I don't want a carbine for these. The Polish Dragoon should have the better carbines. God damn it. So we've got one unit that has, or two. This is such freaking amateur hour. So one guy has trash weapons that I definitely need to replace. Who did I give the carbines to? Or did I take them all back? I gave one to the infantry and I'm selling one back. Alright, so first things first. One crisis averted. We'll get them back to decent weapons. So we just have the one unit that still has the completely terrible reserve muskets. Can I get money, maybe? No. Great. Because if I could get money, which sometimes you can get, then it would be, but all I can get is provisions and ammo, which is not what I need. And I can't sell provisions or ammo, unfortunately. How much money do I need? I've got 54. Basic soul musket would be 75, so I need to raise 19, which isn't much. I just gotta find like the least valuable thing I can drop. Yeah, I'm not going to charge, so we'll sell that doctrine. Actually, that leaves me with 126. What's the best thing I can get for that? Still just the mediocre musket. Okay, well. It's better than what they have now. Everybody should be okay. And my cavalry is markedly better off now, too. One unit has carbines that didn't before. One unit has considerably better carbines. So that's good, I guess. Is there anything else? I guess we can go north to try and get to that convoy and see what maybe we pick up there before the main enemy army shows up on day 150. Or we can go to this outpost and see what happens here. I don't want to lose a fieldwork item. We'll be right back. I have no desire to sacrifice a field work. I don't think I have the time to lay siege. 5 days. Nope. Okay. Let's go check out this convoy. I got some gold that I can't really use. Oh shit. What is this? Literally the day the enemy army is supposed to form to fight me, I get stuck fighting a random army. They have no cavalry, so that's good. They do have 2 artillery batteries, and they've got some dragoons, or some whatever. I don't really have a choice. I'm gonna fight these guys and then have the enemy army sicked on me the same day. Great. Why were they just waiting for me there? That's very strange. Okay. I don't know. This terrain doesn't look particularly good to me either. Okay. I don't know what to do with these guys. I don't have enough. I'll be honest, I don't even really care about this battle other than to make sure that I get some experience since I have no choice but to fight it. Don't get rocked. That's my objective. Those guys are, I don't know, I'm going to be on a really thin line. But it's okay. They have no artillery, or they have limited artillery, so I can have a few reserve units here. They're going way off to the, what is their doctrine anyway? Likely to be aggressive. Okay, they get better flanking fire damage and better move speed, but can't flank me if I don't let them. Right, you guys are shooting at the enemy artillery, but there's infantry behind them for now. I don't really want you to waste your ammo long term against the artillery. It's not a very lucrative target, I don't think. Just a lot of ammo expended for not much gain. Okay, so you won't flank me there. I guess maybe you get flank fire. This is kind of an salient up here. Be funny if it's like the enemy's likely to be aggressive and they just stand back and it becomes an artillery duel. All right, I don't want you to waste your ammo long term on these guys. Please switch your target. They got artillery up on these heights too. There's infantry behind them though, so that target makes sense. Is the game any good? I mean, I've played 50 plus hours of it. I enjoy it. No one's paying me to play. I mean, other than you fine viewers whose advertisement revenue is, you know, subsidizing my time, I guess. This is all part-time for me, but... I wouldn't think light infantry would stand up to cavalry very well. I'm honestly kind of surprised that they're holding up as well as they are. I'm hoping they rout. Get out of there, horsemen, before they volley you. I got shot in the back a little bit and did lose 70 men, but inflicted over 250, so that's good. They only killed 2 of me shooting into my back. The hand that held the dagger has struck it into the back of someone. All right. There's some long range firing going on here. Again, I'd rather protect my force as much as I can. Where's my supply wagon? Oh no. Oh no, the officer who had the supply wagon died in the last battle. Oh, that's a bigger hurt than anything. 2 artillery batteries with no ammo reloads is the fuck. Charge these guys. Please don't. No, you're gonna... I didn't want you to hit these guys. That was never the objective. I think this will be a relatively passive victory, probably. The enemy doesn't have the shock cavalry or troops to really beat me, I don't think. I'm honestly surprised my cavalry accidentally charging those Prussian musketeers did as much damage as they did. All right, can you quickly reform, reload, and then fire into their rear and shatter them? Yep, exactly what you did. Good job, boys. Okay, the Irish Fusiliers are the like most junior. They've got 3 regiments where they really tried hard to overlap my left, but all right, these guys are going to charge me now because they're starting to form up. Or maybe not. Maybe they're just going to... I'd charge them with my dragoons, but they've got 2 more regiments behind them. All right, get up on their flank. One of the enemy units is routing. Now they're shattered. To break these guys, I'll push in on their artillery. My own artillery must be getting targeted because they're not doing great. These guys do have carbines now, but I'm using more shock cavalry. Those veteran musketeers are actually, they did inflict quite a few casualties on the impact with my boys, but shattered, I think. Good job. I'm sorry. I'll go charge these guys. Not that you can't kill more of those guys in the pursuit, but Irish Fusiliers in their first battle are at the center of the thing. I'm gonna pull the dragoons back just so they don't get shot to pieces too much in a battle that they don't need to be fighting. At least not like that. So those guys rallied. I charged my cavalry into them and routed them again, this time for good. Panzer should gain a lot of experience in this fight. We're gonna have 2 cavalry units charge these guys. They're wavering already. I rarely do coordinated cavalry charges. Hell, let's send the general in too. We're gonna Marshal Ney this thing. Wait, that's a bad thing? Two cavalry charges into this 1 infantry unit. They will not stand. They will rout and they will shatter. All right, boys, mop them up. Do you gain experience for casualties inflicted after they break? I don't know the answer to that, by the way. I'm just thinking out loud. All right, we'll speed along. General's just picking off victims. Alright, those guys should rout. Dragoons go charge. They'll shatter and rout. There we go. Victory. I think that was relatively cheap. It was certainly comfortable. Now the question is if we get our losses replaced before the enemy field army shows up. Okay. We lost 1,300. That is not bad at all. We inflicted over 7,000. I've got 3,000 reserves. I'm going to go with the veterancy. One of our officers gets promoted to a 3-star, so that's nice. And if we just had frickin' if we just had the supply wagon. Anyone we should be upgrading. I'm kind of nervous. I don't think we're in great shape for this boss battle. Move speed and charge. Feels like that should be a cavalry trait. Okay. Enemy army's marching. We're going to be outnumbered slightly. Okay. Making those guys better. I'm buying all the cheap food there is because in the next map supplies are really difficult. That assumes we get there, but I'm operating with a degree of confidence that I do not feel. All right. Let's drill and wait for the enemy. It will consume ammunition, but it will gain veterancy. We'll probably burn through all of our ammo, but if we can get some meaningful experience here. Seems like a lot of freaking experience too. All right, here's the enemy army. They're coming up on us. They've got 16,000, so they'll outnumber us slightly. How did the... So remember, the Irish troops had like no The Polish were relatively inexperienced. They got up to 4. Probably should have bought some stuff for them. Panzer cavalry can upgrade to the Polish hussars. The winged hussars. Okay, that's good. Let's do that. Make them better. Irish Fusiliers got all the way to level 4. We can upgrade them. Irish Grenadiers. Irish Veteran Fusiliers. I don't plan to charge, so there's a slight melee advantage that they'll have. And morale, but I'm just going to go with the better shooters. Line infantry is where it's at, you. Right, Lithuanian Musketeers, we assume we go to veteran. Okay. None of our officers get to upgrade. Lame. I don't even know what experience they need to get there. They got a pretty considerable amount of experience, but not enough, it would seem. The artillery, the Polish field artillery got up to level 7. I'm so annoyed that we don't have the frickin' ammo wagon. What's the supply cache? Can I get there before they show up? Nope. Okay. What are we up against? Two Prussian Cuirassiers here at level 5 experience. Third one there, so 3 Prussian Cuirassiers, 4 Prussian Cuirassiers, and a Serbsky Hussars. So they've got 5 cavalry units. Pandar Skirmishers. They got 3 Pandar Skirmishers, 2 Freikorps veteran Jaegers, a lot of light infantry. So that's 2, 3, so that's 5 light infantry, 5 cavalry. Somehow only 3 artillery, which I would consider a damn miracle. So a lot of converged fusiliers, not really many grenadiers, if any. I don't know that I see any grenadiers. I guess the lifeguards kind of count as that, sort of. So 2 lifeguards, 3 converged fusiliers, which are like the top tier heavy infantry shooters. Although they got a good charge too. Man, this is a specialist army. I do wonder if there will be opportunity to get my cavalry into the act charging light infantry. They do have more cavalry than me. They've got 5 to 3, but there might be a chance to drive some of their light troops off. I guess we'll see. They outnumber me either way. We shall see. 'Tis the final battle of Act 2. Shall we die? Will the campaign end? Or will we triumph and move to Act 3? I would have liked a heavy force to hold in. That would have been nice. All right, we're going to hold on the left. We'll use these hedges, refuse our line, maybe the town. There's not really a good artillery vantage point. I guess we could hold up here. We'd have to march up that way quickly. What's their traits? Better. Oh no, they've got a plus 20% morale and plus 15 melee. Well, they do get more flanking damage received though. The light infantry may allow them to move quick, but we'll see. All right. So I beat him to the hill at least. Yay. They're going to have some cover too. I'm going to put my dragoons on this flank. Try to get my artillery up on that height. The Hussars will have on this flank over by Hussars' House of Fine Diamonds in the town. We've got one more. Oh, here's the other horse unit. I'm going to stack my cavalry on the flanks. We'll see. They're very likely to be recklessly aggressive. That's interesting. The interesting thing with them being potentially recklessly aggressive is I have more regular infantry than they do. They've got the skirmishers, which terrify me. And yet they're sitting back. What for? Well, they're moving forward now. But with so much light infantry, I don't know what to expect, really. The cavalry being recklessly aggressive, I understand. That is a common feature in these games. Don't do that. Stay over here. They're going to target the Lithuanian veterans. Don't sit behind. Oh, God. They're going to target them both. Okay, well, let me get a little bit further back in the woods. At least the reserves where the break will probably happen. Who's the artillery targeting? So the only reason this kind of makes sense is you can hit long and bounce to the unit behind. All right, let's go try and take out these Jaegers as the light infantry comes up first. They may turn their cavalry on me, but I can't afford to get picked apart by their light troops. You all have carbines, so even if you don't... Get in there before the grenadiers can and rout some of these troops. pull back before those grenadiers hurt you too bad. One enemy unit routed. Pretty minimal losses on our end. I'm a little nervous the grenadiers are going to get in the act against me, but if we can take out these skirmishers on the flank with our hussars, that would be great. No, they're going elsewhere. Okay. They're forming up to charge someone, but not the skirmishers we just broke and shattered. Nope. You're not going to volley fire those guys. I don't really want my cavalry fighting the lifeguards in that way. Oh, but wait. What are they doing? Charge. If they're gonna expose their flank to you, by all means charge them. Countercharge. Charge into the rear of these guys as they melee me. Alright, the lifeguards on the left are breaking. I think we're going to shatter them. I don't think they'll rally. They're close to shattering in any event. Don't go too far. There we go. Alright guys, pull back. Okay, our center is a bit in trouble. They have broken through here. Got Prussian cuirassiers in there. But our right flank is great. Pull back. I'm not gonna go after this enemy artillery because there's cavalry right near it. Let's trap these lifeguards between my general and the Italians. I tried charging their skirmishers with some of my boys and they countercharged with their hussars. I gotta be real careful here because this is the game, right? Like if we lose this battle, it's over. They're rolling up my center and right. I'm kind of rolling up their left, or my left. The general is rallying. Good. Good. He was routed, but he's rallying. Come down here and help. This is such a fucking mess. You wouldn't think the enemy skirmishers would hold well in a melee, but they seem to be a little bit tougher to crack than I would hope. my general help break these guys. I really don't want my general to die. I think we're winning. I think it does feel like it's close enough that things could change course relatively quickly. I don't know where. I think I'm missing one of my cavalry units. Maybe they routed. I don't know. Finally the hussars. The hussars, is that what you're saying? All right, these guys shouldn't rally. Russians. General, get out of there. No, not you, General. Get out of there. All right, I think the enemy's going to rout. This unit's going to rout. These guys should rally if my general gets there before they get off the map. I didn't run out of ammo because the enemy was so aggressive at coming at me. They've got 2 cavalry units here, it would seem, that are what's left. Alright, those guys shattered. We got an artillery unit that hasn't died yet. We'll go get it. A near run thing, but I'm pretty confident that we won. Go get that artillery. They're down to 7% morale. Nice to see me will live. Yeah. Like that volley didn't do anything against those Prussian cuirassiers. I don't know what shattering actually does for you. I don't know if it has a bigger outsized morale impact, if it influences like veterancy or anything for your units, but it is fun to see the enemy units shatter. And we get another victory. There you go. Okay, now the next battlefield is extremely desolate and hard to replace, like provisions and other things like that. We do carry forward what we get in this fight though. Captured a lot of good loot. I think most of my units will survive, but we did lose 6,300 men, so I'm going to go ahead and do the reserves to get some of that back. No units were destroyed, thank the heavens. 2 officers promoted, multiple units promoted multiple times. We do need to get to 100 support to open up that 5th brigade, which I think will be critical in that next battle. I'm not really a charger. Be real nice to get a supply wagon. Morale damage dealt. Yes, please. Goodbye, troops and ammo. This is all gone. Pretty much. accuracy and move speed. Yes, that seems like a good thing for horsemen to have. All the accuracy is undone, but we get more charge, which, hey, more charge is good. And better morale and stamina recovery. Yes, please. Upgrade them to veteran dragoons. Okay. Melee and charge. That feels like... Well, I can't go to cavalry, but it should be for cavalry. Okay. Try not to spend too much of my money. I'll need it. Okay. Spending all my money. I said I wasn't trying to, but I ended up doing most of it, spending most of it. All right, these guys have basic Delft muskets, good range, poor melee. Great melee, poor accuracy. $16, $14. I don't really like. Let's sell this. I'm not going to use that. Okay, so I think that's everything. I can't afford the 5th Brigade yet. I could present war trophies, and that gets me 5% support. Then I can open up the 5th Brigade right now. So we'll have that available to us at the next battle, and that's the last brigade slot to open. And then a lot of the remaining stuff is all cheap, relatively. So that's it for that. Let's move forward. Choose your doctrine. Accuracy and range. So the last chapter, we get to choose to either capture farther Pomerania, capture Novgorod, or capture East Prussia. Enter 6 settlements. That seems the easiest to do. Well, they're all enter 6. Polish veteran dragoons, Polish grenadiers, foot guards. The secondary one is forced conscription doctrine. We get more troops. We get worse morale. I'm really bad at destroying forts, but the melee trait would be nice, although the regimental accuracy would suck. Enemy campaign movement speed slowed. I kind of want the dragoons, but I don't want the... I mean, I don't have to go for the forts, I guess. Oh shit. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, I don't even care. We're doing capture former Pomerania. Non-cavalry combat effectiveness is reduced with this doctrine if we get it. However, I'm willing to pay that price because I get the fucking legacy of the winged hussars. And I get the Polish hussars join the army if I enter 6 settlements. We're doing that one. I don't even fucking care that it makes the majority of my infantry heavy army worse. don't even care. General, the country ahead has been put to the torch. Storehouses are empty, mills are broken, wells are fouled, and what little remains of is dear to buy. Marauding enemy forces roam the region, burning settlements and destroying what remains to deny your army provisions. This is the enemy's last foothold. The best troops have been gathered here to make a final stand and force a decisive engagement. Take this region, break their main body, and war is won. Hold forth, hold firm, and finish. Yep. Desolate. Desolate. What does the enemy have up here? 19,000 troops in the next brigade down the road. Can I even beat that right now with my current army? Because I need more troops. We need more men. What happens if I go in this supply cache? We need coin. We need food. I don't need food, thank God. Ammunition, yes. I get a light cavalry regiment if I spend money and wait 3 days. I do need more manpower. I did do the Winged Hussars option. Lipa Tartar Uhlans. So that's more troops right there. Starting to fill out the 5th Brigade. Gentlemen, you are the 5th Brigade. In the affections of your army. Alright. What can I do with Sejm power in this map? Political faction. This, why would I do this? This one's tempting. Gain a recruit unit? Yeah. Free recruit unit for sure. Give me the manpower. Alright, let's go up to the slums. Sure. I'm mostly not fighting because I want to make sure that we get our army back to full strength before we do anything. Actually, let's see. We got... Oh, this new unit is a cavalry unit. Never mind, so I don't have to equip them with anything. Okay. So those recruits will let us fill out the ranks, and the artillery that we bought will allow us to get back up to full strength ammo-wise. No, it just reduced the cost. Kind of. Alright, now here's the other thing we're going to do. We're going to put it to the sword. Enemy army comes to the rescue. Just one artillery battery to my 2. So they get 4 cavalry regiments to my 3. 1 artillery battery to my 2. And then infantry. I have a larger army than they do, but all their units are obviously at full strength. So when you burn towns, it can reduce the amount of time until the headquarters army shows up, and it can also trigger an enemy army to come pursue you, which is what I did. But when you burn towns, you also get loot for free. So observation grenadiers, I'm trying to remember. I think those are Russian units, I think. And they're like more like rifleman type deal. Not riflemen, but they're more like marksman type soldiers as opposed to melee soldiers. That being said, guys, I hate to do this, but we've been going for almost 2 hours. I do need to wake up early in the morning, or I'm going to have to because my kid keeps waking up. So we will fight this battle next time. And really get going into the 3rd act next time. But today we finished off the second act and won that. And until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out. Bye-bye. Is there anyone we should be raiding? Let me check. Not really. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. Thank you very much for the follow, Muted and Yavik. Slifix, by the way, I just saw that you resubbed. Appreciate that. Thank you for the compliment on the 1492 videos or video. It's an interesting outcome. Like, it's a very interesting development, I guess is what I will say. But yeah,